Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's it for me. Okay. Ms. Richard has already said a lot, so I'm not sure if it's necessary to say this, but however, I'll just present. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is enjoying this conference, and thank you so much for this opportunity. So my name is Malebo Mulaudzi, and I'm presenting on behalf of myself and Ms. Rachel Kosa from the Johannesburg Business School at the University of Johannesburg. So this study is a conceptual paper rather than collecting primary empirical data. So the paper synthesizes existing literature on TVET education, student career choice, and digital readiness to develop an integrated conceptual framework to understand why students continue to prefer universities over TVET colleges in South Africa. So to begin, let me briefly outline the structure of the presentation today. So these slides provide an overview of the roadmap of the key sections that will guide our discussion of this presentation today. So we'll start with background of the study, then go to theoretical foundation. Subsequently, we'll touch base on research methodology and the findings, then the integrated framework and implication and conclusion of the study. So now that you have an overview of the presentation, let us now not waste any time and jump to the background of the study. So South African TVET colleges were redesigned after 1994 to expand access and address skills shortages. Yet many students still prefer universities, while TVET colleges continue to face lower enrollment statistics or weak public perception, as well as low graduate employment. So the fourth industrial revolution has sharpened this puzzle rather than resolved it. Employers now expect digital influence on top of technical competencies, and COVID-19 has exposed real digital fragility in many vocational institutions, of which has now widened the perception or the perceived distance between universities and TVET colleges. This raises our central question, which is what factors influence student preferences for universities over TVET colleges? And what role do perception of digital readiness play in the student preferences? So to answer this question, we will first examine the theoretical foundation that underpins this study, which explains how students make educational choices and how perception influences those decisions. So this study is underpinned by three theoretical lenses that helps to explain why students make particular education choices. So the first theory is human capital theory, which suggests that students view education as an investment and compare the expected benefits of different pathways. In today's economy, digital competency is an important part of the returns expected from any institution. And then the second lens, sorry about it. The second lens is the social influence theory, which highlights the role of parents, peers, teachers, and the media in shaping student perception and career decision. The third lens, which is the last lens that underpins this study, is the institutional theory, which explains or focuses on how factors such as reputation, accreditation, and perceived quality influence student choice. Increasingly, digital readiness has become an important maker of institutional quality. So together, these three theories help us to explain why many students perceive universities as offering greater value, stronger social endorsement, and higher legitimacy than TVET colleges. So having discussed the three theoretical lenses that underpins the study, I will now turn on the methodology section. So as I've alluded earlier, this study is a conceptual framework. So there was no empirical data that was collected. We conducted a narrative and critical literature review using the thematic synthesis with no participant or primary data. The literature was sourced from Scopus, focusing on English language studies published between 2011 and 2025 on TVET colleges, higher education choice, and digital readiness in South Africa, and similar developing country context. So thematic analysis followed the Brown and Clark 6 phases of familiarizing with the themes, while trustworthiness was guided by Lincoln and Bupa criteria. So importantly, every relationship in the proposed framework that underpins the study is supported by the evidence from multiple literature sources, making it an evidence-based conceptual model rather than a theoretical assumption. So having outlined the methodology, I will now move to the findings. So from the literature, 6 key themes emerged that help to explain students continue to prefer universities over TVET colleges. Theme 1, it's about societal perception of TVET colleges. In this theme, negative perception continue to undermine TVET attractiveness. Students are often influenced by family members or peers, as well as the media narrative that position that TVET as a second choice option, as opposed to universities, highlighting the role of social influence in educational decision making. And then theme 2, perceived employability differences, where students increasingly associate employability with digital readiness. As a result, universities are often perceived as offering better career prospects and stronger digital skills, making them the preferred choice for many students as opposed to TVET colleges. Now we are going to our theme 3, which focuses on digital readiness and technology infrastructure. So in this theme, the literature highlights challenges related to infrastructure, lecture capabilities, and student digital skills. However, what influences the student choice is not only actual digital readiness, but also how it is perceived. Visible signs of technology and innovation often shape preferences more than underlying capability. So now we are moving to theme 4, which is institutional reputation and credibility. So under this theme, institutional reputation remains a key factor in student decision-making. The literature highlights or shows that perception of credibility can persist even when program quality improves or not. So because students often rely on visible indicators such as facilities, connectivity, and technology, which can reinforce university preferences over TVET colleges. And then theme 5, it's awareness and understanding of TVET pathways. So under this theme, the literature highlights that limited awareness of TVET qualifications and career opportunities often leads to students to default to universities as opposed to TVET colleges. So with digital communication and outreach can reinforce perception that TVET institutions are less digitally developed as opposed to normal universities. And then theme 6 focuses on 4IR, preparedness and future employability. So under this theme, the theme brings the previous findings together, which was from theme 1 to theme 5. Students increasingly associate future employability with 4IR readiness, digital skills, and career opportunities. So as a result, institutions perceived as better prepared for the digital future are often viewed as more attractive educational choices. So in these slides, the framework, this framework integrates the 6 themes in 4 interconnected layers. The first layer includes awareness, social influence, and 4IR, preparedness. The second layer focuses on digital readiness, institutional reputation, and expectation for employability. So these factors shape the third layer, which is student perception, which ultimately influence the fourth layer, which is student preference. So the key argument is that students do not respond directly to institutional realities. They respond to how those realities are perceived. Therefore, student perception acts as the critical link between institutional factors and educational choices. So under this slides, the framework brings together the 8 key constructs identified in the literature and highlight how they collectively shape student preference. 3 important insights emerged. The first one, perception of 4IR preparedness are closely connected to views of digital readiness, employability, and institutional reputation. The second one, social influence through parents, peers, and communities play an important role in shaping student perception and awareness of educational pathway. The third one, which is digital readiness, is increasingly viewed as a maker for institutional quality and future employability. So the central argument of the framework is that students do not make choices based solely on institutional realities, or rather, they make choices based on how those realities are perceived by, it can be peers or family, as I've alluded earlier. So as a result, the universities are often viewed more favorably, while TVET colleges continue to face a perceptual disadvantage, particularly in the context of growing 4IR expectation, like my colleague alluded in the previous presentation, which was rural areas. Building on the framework, the study proposes 4 testable propositions for future research. The first one, student preference is shaped by multiple factors rather than a single influence. The second perception, it's perception of 4IR, preparedness, shape how students view digital readiness, institutional reputation, and employability. The third one, social influence, plays an important role in shaping awareness and educational choice. Like, obviously, if we speak to our peers or parents, what they say count most than what the academic or the university will say. So finally, improving student preference requires addressing both institutional capabilities and student perception. Together, these propositions provide a foundation for future empirical research and further development for the framework. The next slide is about implications for policy. So having considered the implications of the study, I will now conclude the preparation by revisiting the central argument and the key contribution. While the framework provides a foundation for future research, it also offers several practical implications for TVET colleges, policymakers, and other stakeholders. So the findings suggest that improving TVET attractiveness requires addressing both institutional capability and student perception. For policymakers, TVET should be repositioned as a credible pathway for 4IR careers while strengthening links between education and employment. For institutions, visible indicators such as digital platforms, lecturer digital skills, and student digital experiences can enhance credibility and attractiveness. So curricula should embed 4IR competencies and strengthen industry exposure to improve employability. And most importantly, similar challenges are reported in other developing countries, creating opportunities for regional collaboration and shared learning. In conclusion, student preference for universities over TVET colleges is shaped by social influence, institutional reputation, and employment expectation, as alluded prior. So the study proposes 4 propositions. Student preference is shaped by multiple interacting factors. 4IR preparedness influences perception of digital readiness, reputation, and employability. Social influence affects choice directly and through awareness. And the 4th one is changing preferences requires improving both institutional capability and student perception. So for this reason, the study suggests that repositioning TVET is essential for South Africa for higher agenda. This framework provides a foundation for future empirical research. And this brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you everyone for your time and for your attention. Thank you.